Well, I don't know if you know this or not by now. And I saw that post from Angel Reese, or what I thought was Angel Reese, or whatever I got told was Angel Reese, about the white girl didn't want any of the fade or something like that. I thought it had to be a mistake. Somebody asked me about it, and I said, no, surely to God she would not have even Angel Reese surely realizes not to repost something like that, right?
Welcome to the only venue where we analyze current events in sports without any filters, scripts, or excuses, where the truth resides. This is where we call things what they are, even when they are difficult, especially when they are uncomfortable. It is not the place for contrived stories or corporately sanitized commentary.
Hell, I guess I was wrong. I guess she did. And so now that I'm really starting to look into this, I'm like, God, not only is this real, but you've got media members that actually do try to hold the WNBA to some kind of responsibility. They're talking about there's no room for hate, this and that and the other one. And you got a player that's blatantly advocating for violence against far and away your most popular player. All right, and bringing race into the situation.
We're going to explore what may be the most significant controversy the WNBA has ever encountered today. It's not just about basketball, it's also about culture, race, integrity, and what happens when a league that violates equity and justice is unable or unwilling to uphold its own standards. At the core of it all are two rising stars, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and behind them is a league that is on the verge of becoming a parody of itself. Let's examine this.
But this was put out right here. Again, hell, I thought it was fake originally. And I guess it's not. I mean, it's crazy. White girl running from the fade. There's Angel Reese right there. There's, of course, Caitlin Clark doing the responsible thing, not wanting to tank her public relations. Like Angel Reese walking away after the take foul the other night. Or the other day against the Chicago Sky.
It all began with a single TikTok social media post that went viral and was captioned, "White girl running from the fade." In order to preserve her reputation and prevent a confrontation, Caitlin Clark, arguably the most well-known athlete in women's sports at the moment, decided to walk away and disengage after taking a hard foul during a WNBA game between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky.
And I was like, again, somebody sent that to me and I said, it's got to be fake. And I was like, nope, here's a video on TikTok right here. And that picture is in this video. And it was reposted by Angel Reese. And let's see if I have the ability there. I'm going to just turn that down because I don't want a copyright strike. But right there, there's the picture. And Angel Reese did, in fact, repost this on TikTok, it looks like, and share it. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Or are you kidding me? And the WNBA is going after and lecturing Indiana Fever fans in this investigation? Are you trying to tell me Angel Reese is not going to get suspended for this, not going to get fined for this? Or is the WNBA too gutless to stand up against things like this, even if it is against a white woman?
That would be regarded as admirable in any sane world, the kind of level-headedness you'd want from a leader, but someone saw that as a chance to sow division and reframe the incident, turning it into a meme with a caption that implied Clark was a coward who was literally fleeing from a physical altercation out of fear.
Right here, Angel Reese cries about racism that never happened, then goes on and reposts openly racist TikToks. This is why the WNBA is a joke and not only allows but encourages racism against white people. Well, it takes a step further here, because my boy over at Outkick, Bobby Burack, who's a hell of a good journalist, did reach out to the WNBA. Right here, I asked the WNBA if they had a comment on Angel Reese's racist post on TikTok about Caitlin Clark. The league had no comment, nor would it address Reese suggesting she wants to fight Caitlin Clark. So much for, quote, zero tolerance for hate. You know, the WNBA is running an ad right now about, I think, the physicality of the league. And at some point, we just gotta ask the question: is this what Kathy Engelbert and the WNBA wanted? Is this what they wanted? Is all this drama, all this? I mean, I understand it's good for ratings. Maybe the commissioner's sitting back and she's secretly smiling about this or whatnot, but you're still targeting the fan base that's funding this whole thing in the Indiana Fever.
And one of the league's most well-known players, Angel Reese, who has millions of fans and a huge public platform, reposted it. She didn't qualify it, she didn't deny it, she amplified it, and that's when everything changed. To fully comprehend the significance of this moment, you must comprehend who these players are. Not just another rookie, Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon, a ratings powerhouse, and a cultural lightning rod. She filled arenas nationwide in a league that prior to her arrival frequently struggled to sell out 30,000-seat gyms. She also gave the women's NCAA championship more viewers than the men's final for the first time in history. When Angel Reese reposts a racist video mocking Caitlin Clark, the symbolism doesn't just exist in the moment, it echoes through the culture and says something much deeper. When the WNBA does nothing about it, they are also making a statement whether they realize it or not. Angel Reese represents a wave of young black athletes reclaiming the narrative and refusing to be boxed into anyone's mold of acceptable behavior. She became a household name during LSU's championship run and has built a strong fan base by owning her image and voice.
All right. They're the ones grabbing the ratings. They're the ones paying up for the tickets, even on the road. And I've got to wonder, are you going to start seeing more empty seats even at Caitlin Clark games? Because I can tell you this, just from what I can gauge, a lot of Fever fans are already sort of fed up. All right, they're already sort of fed up. And you could hear it from the crowd. The crowd said that they, I guess, Kathy Engelbert came over and lectured the crowd prior to the game the other day. How about at Kathy Engelbert? Does she have any comment? If the at WNBA wants to be taken seriously, we should have transparency on these types of issues. Absolutely.
Let's dissect this. The WNBA has long marketed itself as the League of Values, a league of inclusivity and accountability. They run campaigns about respect, preach unity and togetherness, and highlight their diversity as a point of pride. So, why is it that every time fans shout something deemed inappropriate, whether it's truly offensive or just inconvenient, the league launches an investigation? When critics challenge the narrative, they are called bigots or misogynists. However, when a player with significant influence reposts something blatantly targeting another player and bringing race into the equation, the WNBA acts as if it never happened. There is no statement, no disciplinary action, not even a public warning. Nothing that's not leadership, that's cowardice masquerading as progress.
The WNBA is officially having their Jussie Smollett Bubba Wallace hoax situation. Right here, right now. You're watching it. And there's other things going on like this being shared by Angel Reese. WNBA's turning a blind eye to it. Do they not realize, look, if you want to be taken as a, number one, if you want to keep all these new fans around, and you want to be treated like a real sports league, you've got to start taking things like this seriously and quit worrying about going after somebody because they made a crack about Brittany Griner being arrested in Russia. Sports fans are going to go after Brittany Griner over that. They're going to heckle her over that. I heard that yesterday and was like, are you kidding me? Fact, Brittany Griner got arrested in Russia for cannabis oil, which is illegal in Russia. You expect sports fans to not literally heckle her with that during the game? Have you ever been to a Raiders game, an Eagles game? You gotta be kidding me.
Let's act out this scenario in reverse. "Black girl can't handle the smoke" is the caption on a video that Caitlin Clark posted. You know precisely what would occur. There would be a national outcry, many articles, demonstrations, calls for suspension, brand deals being canceled, and ESPN would cover it for a week. Social media would be flooded with activists, and with good reason. That would be deeply inappropriate, offensive, and provocative. So why is it allowed when the opposite is true? It's uncomfortable. Although it is unacceptable, some people act as though it is because they are scared to confront the unfairness of the system and worry about being labeled racist even when they are pointing out instances of racism. Let's be quite clear, racism is racism. Neither the history of oppression nor frustration can legitimate it. No matter the situation, attacking someone based solely on their race is not empowerment, and the WNBA must stop treating morality like a buffet where you can only choose what serves your interest if it hopes to be respected as a professional league. Now, let's discuss the individuals that genuinely keep the fans' lights on. Among the most devoted and active WNBA supporters are those of the Indiana Fever. They attend games, travel, chant, show their support, and ask for rewards. Warnings about disrespect and contempt. In the midst of an investigation into what now seems to be a wholly baseless accusation of racism, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert reportedly spoke to the Fever supporters prior to a recent game about their behavior and tone, rather than about encouraging them to cheer more or show love. Meanwhile, Angel reposts racially offensive content and is not held accountable. A PR degree is not necessary to understand why this is an issue. The absurdity of the situation is best expressed by a joke. You don't need a background in marketing to comprehend what happens when supporters begin to feel insulted by the league they support. All you need is common sense. If this keeps up, you'll see empty seats again, even at Caitlin Clark games. Yes, it's a joke. Recently, a satirical page published a phony headline. The reason why thousands of people thought the WNBA's decision to outlaw booing was serious was because it sounded like something the league would truly do, even though it was a joke or parody.
NBA Centel, which is a parody site, a satire site, shared a fake post about the WNBA banning booing. All right. At first glance, I saw it, was like, well, I can't believe it took them this long. And then I saw who posted it and was like, okay, good. But that just tells you it got a lot of people. That post, a lot of people thought it was real. Because at this point, we're expecting the WNBA to literally do something absurd like ban booing in a sports league.
When people believe that your league would forbid jeering at something that is actually a part of the sporting experience, you are no longer seen as a professional enterprise. That is how far the league has devolved. Satire has turned into prophecy, and the distinction between reality and farce has entirely vanished. You're a punchline. Let's take a moment to go off the court and discuss business sponsors not investing in disruption, broadcasters not paying top price for scandal fatigue, and a circus performance without a script. If fans begin laughing at you rather than with you, you're in real trouble. Merchandise partners don't want to be involved in unforeseen public relations disasters. And when a league makes it clear that it can't even regularly police its own code of conduct, it sends a strong message to those in charge. You can't trust us. Every company that partnered with the WNBA because of its principles is now keeping a close eye on it, and every instance of hypocrisy or cowardice erodes that foundation. If the WNBA loses the trust of its corporate partners, no amount of TikTok virality will be able to save it. At what point does Adam Silver intervene? Remember that the WNBA operates under the NBA's umbrella. These teams are partially owned by NBA franchises, and their success or failure reflects back on the entire sport. If this trend continues, it's not just a WNBA issue. It becomes a basketball problem, a brand issue. Adam Silver must ask himself a serious question. Does he want to be remembered as the commissioner who brought the WNBA to a wider audience, or as the one who watched as the women's league collapsed from within? Caitlin Clark introduced the WNBA to millions of new fans who had never seen a women's game before, and now those same fans are watching in disbelief as the league mishandles one crisis after another. If Silver is concerned about long-term sustainability, now is the time to take action, not next season or after the playoffs. The WNBA is at a historic intersection where one path leads to growth, integrity, accountability, and respect, while the other leads to division and hypocrisy. The brutal truth is that you can't have it both ways. You can't say that there is no tolerance for hate and then tolerate it when it fits your narrative. You can't reprimand fans and then excuse players. You can't position yourself as a league of values and then remain silent when those values are violated. You're either a real league or a political theater. You're either fair or you're fake. So WNBA, what will it be? The decline in fan trust and eventual irrelevance